Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Jason Wojo. Listen, I'm here with my 12 days of Christmas contribution. And what I'm going to share with you is how to create generational wealth with $1,000 or less per year, and not even for your whole life, but for a short period of time. And what I'm talking about essentially is a process of setting up a Roth IRA for your child, paying them in your business, and then making contributions for them. And let me explain this in a little bit more detail. Essentially, let's talk about this for a second. I'm a big fan of Roth IRAs because if you do it correctly, while you're not getting a tax break on those contributions, all of your earnings are tax free later, right? So I look at a Roth IRA kind of as, you're instead of getting taxed on the harvest, you're getting taxed on the seed, which in most cases is significantly lower than that harvest, especially if you do something with it, right? Now, if you're someone who's just going to put money in an IRA and it's not going to do anything, and you're going to make a minimal return, then maybe a traditional IRA is better for you. But if you plan on doing something with this, making a great return, then a Roth IRA is an incredibly powerful vehicle to make that happen. Now, here's where it gets cool. So you have a Roth IRA. Now, to have a Roth IRA, you need earned income. Not everybody can start a Roth IRA, and there are income limitations. I don't want to get into that right now, and there's ways around that too. But let's just talk about this as it pertains to your kid. So you need to earn income, right? So you have to pay your kid. Now, I am not going to talk about the tax benefits of having family work for you. That's beyond this video. Those are in existence though, and that's a separate conversation. So here's what it looks like. You pay your child legitimately in your business to do certain things, and now they have earned income, and now they can fund a Roth IRA. Now, I can tell you for me, I started paying my daughter probably when she's, I don't know, 10 years old, maybe or so. Depending on the kinds of responsibilities they do, you can do this earlier, or you could start later if you're just hearing this right now and your kids are already a little older. That's okay too. But here's what you need to do is set up job responsibilities. And by the way, you're paying them, so this is a deduction for your business, right? This is an expense that you can deduct on your taxes if you're itemizing. And so it's not like you're just giving them money, right? This is an actual business expense. And so pick a job responsibility or responsibilities that are in alignment with their age, and pay them for them, right? And so, by the way, here's a couple ideas, and I'm just going to go to my screen now. And actually, what I did is I posted a question in the Lifeonaire app. If you don't have it yet, go get it, right? In the Lifeonaire app to ask, hey, what are you guys paying your kids for in business? And I'm just looking at my screen right now. I got here, and actually, I'll just share my screen so you can see this. Here we go. Here we go. All right, so here's a couple of them, right? We got mailings, cleaning up, social media promotions, modeling, right? Sometimes people will have kids in their ads. I've seen this a bunch. Biking for dollars. Maybe they're not driving for dollars, right? But they can get on their little BMX bike or and go looking for properties and write down addresses for you, right? Ignore the banter here. We got Adrian saying writing marketing letters and signs, right? These are great ideas. Doing marketing walkthrough videos of properties, light working properties, demo, cleanup, right? What else does he say? Oh gosh, lots of stuff here. Simple office work, filing paperwork, balancing checkbooks, right? There's all kinds of stuff in here. Keith Blackboard actually shared a document. Keith is a CPA, and he shared a document with our Lifeonaire community, and that's right here. And he has a bunch of ideas for this. And so check this out. So Keith created this PDF on how to 32 ideas for hiring your kids. An incredible document that's free, that he gave away to Lifeonaire community. And by the way, you have to go in the app to get it, right? So check this out. So he has making coffee, tea for office employees, voice talent, radio advertising, repair, competitive research on the internet, product testing, cleaning, washing stuff, collecting rent. I mean, check this list out. It's amazing, right? So all these ideas came from Lifeonaire people. Some other things I came up with is, similarly, make social media posts, manage your social media sites, doing some video or audio, photo editing, cleaning, job posting. I have my daughter do receipt stuff for me. So I'll take a picture of a receipt with my phone, put it into into Google Drive. She'll name it, put the amount, put the date on it for me, and throw it in there for me. So you can address envelopes, name badges if you're doing live events, welcome packets, pictures. I mean, bandit signs. All kinds of stuff here. The list is endless. Be creative, but be honest, right? We want to make sure that we're always being honest with all of this. Don't be shady, really pay him, really make this happen. So here's where the magic happens. I mentioned earlier about $1,000 a year, right? Well, let's do something fun. All right. Let's say you start paying your kid, and I just pulled up these investment calculators. I didn't do any research to see which are better. There's a bunch of them online. I just pulled this one up. So let's say that you pay your kid, and you, by the way, you can't make an IRA contribution that's more than they make, right? So there's that limitation. So you actually got to pay him at least $1,000 if you're to do this. I'd actually suggest you pay him more than that. It looks a little weird that all of that income would be going to an IRA. So pay him, a few grand, whatever it is, right? And this is easier as they get older too, because they can do more and more and more, right? So say you're going to put in $1,000 a year, okay, for 10 years. Let's say you're going to do this between the ages of 10 and 20 years old, right? And so let's say you do this for 10 years and you get an 8% return. We're trying to be conservative here. Yes, I know you can get way more, but I'm trying to be conservative because I think everybody can attain this, so it's 8%. And so you put $1,000 in at once, you get $1,000 for 10 years. This will be worth $16,645.49. Okay, so you're saying, who cares? This isn't anything. Well, you're right. It's not a big deal. But let's now take that and let's say that this is basically the seed for them. Now, here's another image of that. If we take that 16,645 and we let it go for 40 years, getting the same rate of return. And I'm assuming, and this is terrible, hopefully they're doing more than this, but let's say they only put in, I'm not saying you have to do this. And I do think at some point you have to hand this off to your kids and give them the responsibility, right? Don't create a trust fund baby here that's going to just, just not take advantage of like life and society. But just, and so you want them to buy into this. And by the way, what you're doing here is teaching them about this as well, right? You're not just doing this for them. You're teaching them about this. You're hopefully getting them to match you. That's another thing that I'm doing with my daughter is I'm going to help her by matching some of her contributions for a certain period of time. Of course, you have to make sure that this meets the contribution guidelines and things like that. But let's say she or he put in $1,000 a year. Now, because we did it till 20 years, right? Let's actually make this, so you did it between the ages of 10 and 20. And let's make it 45 years. So when they're 65 years old, at an 8% return rate, you essentially just made them almost millionaires, with a little bit of their work too, on your $1,000 a year and their $1,000 a year. Now now right now the contribution limit for Roth IRA is $6,000 per year. Let's put that in here and let's see what that looks like. Okay, I'm really excited here. Let's see. Survey says, boom, $2.8 million. Do you see how important this is and how you can set your child up and leave a legacy of wealth for generations to come? Now, I don't want you to just do it here, right? Because the other part of this is I mentioned that they have to do this for themselves, and that you have to teach them. You have to show them how this works. You have to educate them. You have to show them what stewardship of finances means. But when you do this, now you can actually create generational wealth if it's handled appropriately. I don't have time to talk about what to do with that actual money as it's passed on from generation to generation. Should you get a trust? There's different options and things like that. It's a different video. But I want you to see the power in the education and the action, okay? Education and action. And that's a theme, by the way, throughout life that is shown to be successful, lead to success in successful people. And so I hope you found this tip valuable. If you want to discuss this more, put something in the Lifeonaire app. By the way, hopefully you have Lifeonaire app at this point. There's all kinds of resources over there. If you want to get Keith's PDF in there, you want to go over in the app and be part of the conversations that are happening every day. This is the kind of stuff that, like, Lifeonaire is about creating freedom, right? And part of that freedom has to do with financial freedom. And what better way than to break a cycle of poverty through generations of mismanaging money than to start taking some responsibility and changing your legacy as it moves forward from you for generations to come. Hope you enjoyed this tip. We'll see you next time.